We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
Eagles! Swing of the miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes! Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
Super Bowl! Let's go!
Oh, we're going. Oh, we're
It's there. They're there. They've arrived.
yeah, they're there. They're there.
The Go Birds plane has arrived. I'm sure as the week progresses, the city of New Orleans will be engulfed in green.
Yep.
And it could not have happened in a better way.
What? Eagles
Which I
winning
knew
32-0?
you were
32-0 Eagles.
the confidence that you have, Rich, going into that NFC Championship game was only matched by the amount of points that were put up.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
land-based a team, I don't care who you're playing, and it's the NFC Championship game, and you put up 55, and Will Shipley has a game.
On three touches.
It was
On three
was-
touches.
it was the Will Shipley game.
Will Shipley. What a monster.
I mean, like, not for nothing, but like, he had himself a game. Right, 4 rushes, 77 yards, a touchdown, had a forced fumble.
Yeah. That's what we get from our guys. That's what we expect from our third string running back. I know I had it in my bingo card.
Oh
Will
my
Shipley?
God.
Check.
No, but like we got to spend a little bit of time recapping that game because the hot topic going into that game was Jaden Daniels, right? Everybody was on the Jaden Daniels train, and you saw, I think you saw in that game last Sunday, this time last week, you saw what I think you would have seen in Washington had the entire squad stayed intact, had Jalen Hurts played. And that team just they didn't even belong on the same field.
Not at all. I mean, this is what we should have seen the second game. Like you said, if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt in the second game, they were on the same warpath. So we would have basically beat them twice by a combined 60 points in the second 2 games if we would have played if Jalen didn't get knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible from the rip. It was incredible. Like the Eagles just like you open the game right with that 16-play drive and you net 3 points and you're Washington. You got to be embarrassed. Like you need to be embarrassed. That's when I knew. I'm like, only 3 points. Yeah, all right, we got this.
And the stat when they flashed that up on the screen and it was like 18 plays, 8 minutes, like all this time, 6 and then the score 3, and then the Eagles 1 play, 7 points.
Yeah,
it was over. And as close as the game was, it never ever felt close. I remember hearing them on the broadcast a handful of times go, this game is close, but it feels like the Eagles are up 30. And it was legit only a matter of time before before they start to they do what they did all year long,
Yeah.
right? They run the ball, they pass when they need to, right? Jalen Hurts has probably his best game of the year in the biggest moment, and what a great kind of send off into to go into
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Go ahead, Joe.
Good. Think better. You could think better. Yeah.
Joe's mic's doing the thing again.
Oh, hey.
Joe,
Joe, hold on. We gotta switch it up. We gotta do some. We're back.
How-
Let's see what happens.
no, put Joe. See if we can put Joe at the bottom because it's crazy. Because in the studio, behind the scenes, all right, Joe, go ahead, try.
Hello?
No, I don't know.
I think Russia's got you.
All stage sound listens to feed who are not on the scene. I just don't understand because when you pull us off and Joe talks, when he's on, he's fine until he comes on.
Hello?
Joey.
What?
That's exactly how it sounds.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
You know,
Wanna try a different spot in the house, Joe?
maybe up there.
Try a different spot in the house.
I'll go upstairs.
But see, then he was fine right there. So what is it?
I don't know.
Joe, talk. Keep talking. Yeah, just keep talking the whole way through. See, now you can hear him fine.
Do we have to put Joe in timeout? Put him off screen? Keep him off screen, but you can still hear him.
You can just hear him. We can only ones who can see him. God damn it! All
This
we
is
want.
right.
No.
Oh.
Aaron Rodgers is sitting in your closet eating all your snacks.
Oh, good gracious.
Yeah, pull
It's
him
a
on.
little
Let's see
better.
if it works.
Is this better?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
perfect.
yeah. There you go.
Well, I haven't done
Joey.
here, but whatever works, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
Joe, live and direct from the kitchen table.
All right, Joe, go ahead. Give us.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'll take cheesesteak, fries, extra hot peppers. Thanks.
But Joey, go talk about the defense. Talk about the defense going into that game when how they're able to take Jaden Daniels essentially out of the game and essentially negate the entire offense.
Yeah, the defense really had Vic really did his homework like he does every week. They were able to get the lead back, make the play they needed to make the play. Vic locked in with contain, so he didn't get out of the pocket and run first down for really able to get any kind of the 4 turnovers were huge. At that for me the play of the game, that they broke off that 60-yard run. It seemed like it was already over. I think the play that really separated us from them was when it was 4-5. We were up 2 points walking out midfield, and he's like, should we punt here? And deep, but when you're trying to set the tone, you're being full, you're going still shot, and that 4-5 pass to A.J. Brown side. I mean, it was spot drop right bucket, that was, and they were scoring a touchdown. So that was a huge turn point in the game. And Washington just couldn't. They could never bring anything up after that. We just got bored.
Joe, is your phone on a stand?
It is not.
Pick your phone up. Now talk.
Hello.
Keep going. Just keep talking.
Yes.
Keep going. Just keep talking. Just
Like
talk
this?
normal. Yeah.
I'm
Talk
like
to
holding
talk, talk to us about the birds, Joe.
Yeah. Talk to us about the birds.
it.
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this.
Like, break.
It just breaks, but it's fine. It'll be periodically. It'll be fine, and then all of a sudden it won't. So I have a feeling something's interfering with the bottom of where you talk into, and you hear it. Because if you're using your phone, I feel like something's causing interference at the bottom.
Here.
Do you have ghosts, Joe?
Sideways.
All right, go ahead and talk. Keep talking.
How about this? Is this better?
Yeah,
Oh, that's like a million times better.
yeah. All right,
But
go ahead.
My phone is like a flip phone from like 1999. So maybe
Oh, it's perfect now.
that
Oh.
might have something to do with it.
Just don't move, Joe. You're good.
Yeah,
It's all
Joe, I
good.
understand you have the Nokia Sidekick. you have to flip
I
it
was trying to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to tell too many people, but now it's too late.
Joe, cat's out of the bag. It's all good.
Sorry.
Cat's out
It's all good. Joe,
haven't
listen. Your phone is performing better than the Commanders did in the NFC Championship game, so it's all good.
You recovered, and you recovered
It's a win.
early in the game.
There you go.
It's a win. And there was
But
another
you're right,
play in
Joe.
that game.
That play, that 4th and 5 early, is a great indication of, I think, some of the stories that you heard come out about once they had already moved on, the stories about Nick Sirianni and him pulling out the notes from the last Super Bowl and trying to learn those lessons. And I think you've seen a little bit of that going into this game about taking those chances. A lot of people want to go back to that 4th and 3 when they punt and how that really turned the tide in that Super Bowl. And I think learning those lessons and realizing that, at those points in the game, you're going to have to take those chances and you're going to have to live with it. And you put your hands and you put your ball in the hands of your playmakers. And Jalen Hurts, for whatever it's worth, made the plays that he needed to make and really did a great job at putting his guys in position to be successful. Right, the touchdown pass to AJ Brown in the corner was a dime. It's a keyhole throw that he makes where only his guy can make that catch.
He threw a bunch of fucking dimes. I mean, the
Most
fourth
definitely.
the 4th down 25-yard pass was fantastic. Marshawn Lattimore having 2 dads now is I mean, you got Mike Evans and now you have AJ Brown. So enjoy the multiple fathers there, bud. Marshawn Lattimore, dude. Watching him just dissolve on the field like fucking salt in water. It just makes me laugh. But I can't even call him salt. I mean, he is salty. I'm just going to call him sugar because he's fucking sweet. And he was getting eaten up all fucking day. Like,
seriously.
Marshawn Lattimore versus true wide receiver ones, he is fucking terrible.
He's falling apart, yeah.
Like, he's done. Like, I don't care what anybody wants to say. Like, bro, he's done. Like, he's getting torched. And then the only thing he can do after that is get angry. Like, that's all he can do and try to fight the wide receivers. He did it to Mike Evans multiple times where he had to get his ass whooped by Mike Evans. And then, like, AJ Brown. Like, bro, you're just getting blocked. And you're upset now that you're getting blocked. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But Jalen threw a fucking dime to him. Like, Jalen looked good. The one pass that he threw to Saquon Barkley on his back shoulder, on his hip, was a dime. Saquon dropped it, but, like, it was a good pass. Like,
yeah.
He was making good passes and he was executing all game. And it's just fantastic when he has probably one of the best games out of the week of quarterbacks and he still gets fucking overlooked. It's mind-boggling, but like the whole game I'm saying that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Yeah. Because the throws that he was fucking making and just the intangibles. I mean, he was quicker with getting the ball out and making his reads, finding the open man, throwing guys open. Dallas Goedert, dude, like unsung hero of the playoffs. Like that guy's doing so fucking much and is just under the radar. I know we want to give all the credit to Saquon, that offensive line, but like Dallas Goedert's been sneaky fucking good this playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that I would watch in this Super Bowl as a guy that could have an opportunity to really, have a dramatic effect on the game. Similar to the plays that you saw Zach Ertz make in that, what was it, well, in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Where he makes some really big, really clutch. Some of these catches that he's making. And the yard with the difference though with Goddard is the yards after the catch, and how he's able to kind of get the ball and get you that extra 10, 12, 15. But even the shovel passes and the jet sweeps that they're running for him to just be able. And I think you saw a little bit of that, right? Put a handful of things on tape that they haven't seen before, just to give Kansas City, you don't know it at the time, but to give whatever team you're going to play, to give them the opportunity to have something else to take a look at. It really does make a difference when you're talking about having to make sure that this team is as prepared as they can possibly be going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything on deck this week, guys. I mean, my thing is, with the conversation going to the coordinator, Kellen Moore, what's going to happen with that? I mean, it seems it kind of seems like that's where he's going to be coaching after Sunday. He's going to be the head coach of New Orleans. We don't know that for sure, but that's
a
the way
fucking
it seems
terrible
like
job. I would not take that.
falling into place there. So there's two ways to look at it. If you're putting yourself in Kellen's shoes, he's like, well, I basically already have the job, and it's just signing on the dotted line on Monday. But then the other way to look at it is as to he's preparing and going into this game. If he comes out and they win the game and the offense is one of the big reasons why he could go to them and say, look what I did. You're gonna have to throw me a little bit of extra money there, guys. So it's.
I think, Joe, the biggest difference between what happened a couple years ago with Gannon in Arizona and what's happening now is like everything is happening above board. None of it is
There's surprises, right?
Yeah.
Right. There's no surprises, and I think you're also talking about his best chance to secure that job is to go out and have a really, really good performance and a really great game plan and be able to show the Saints that, I've been a coordinator here, but look at me shine on the biggest stage against a really good defense, right? And a really good defensive coordinator. So I think you're in right now with Kellen Moore. You're in a best case scenario to be able to have the opportunity to be able to get his best performance. And you saw a really good game plan from them, right? That they did what they do well, right? They throw the ball early and they run the ball and they run the ball and saw it away the clock. And you just saw Washington's defense just not be able to be on the same field, right? When and if you look at the last three NFC Championship games, they're all blowouts. I think that I'm looking at the combined score between all three games is 124-37.
Damn.
It's pretty good.
Right, in those last three games against the Vikings, Niners, and Commanders. But you saw everything that you needed to see, right? You saw Rich talk about your boy Quinion Mitchell, right? Because when he covers Terry McLaurin, 4 targets, 1 catch, 7 yards, 1 interception.
He's a fucking monster. I mean, it's really what it comes
Like
down.
Walked in day one.
He walked in day one like, I'm that dude, and he really fucking is. Like you see Terry McLaurin do one thing, and he catches the touchdown, and everybody's hype. Who's a Washington fan that took over the Hard Rock Cafe? Here to find out they all ended up with food poisoning because that's what happens when you eat at the Hard Rock Cafe in Philly. It's disgusting. But he does the one thing, and he beats Slay. Like, Slay kind of like lets him go, and whatever, he scores a touchdown. Wasn't on Mitchell. And then it's like, okay, for the rest of the game, hey, yo, Quinion, go get him, kid. And then what happens? He gets locked the fuck down. His stats this playoffs are crazy. Yeah. It's like eight attempts, I think 4 completions for like 37 yards. Like, that's it. Like, he has a quarterback. I think he's got like a quarterback rating of 13 when he's targeted or something.
Outrageous.
Like, I forget the number of the stats, but I sent them. It's just what him and Cooper DeJean are doing is insane. Just locking dudes up and making plays. And I was so happy when they won and he got that pick in the end zone. I'm like, he truly is a no-fly zone. And then you had my other boy, Jalen Carter, just disrespecting
Game
that
record.
All right.
offensive line.
So Rich, real quick, I got your stat for you, right? The two of them combined in the NFC Championship game to allow 42 yards.
Yeah.
2 forced fumbles, 1 interception between the two of them. But like, can you talk about Jalen Carter almost knocking Tyler Biada's, almost knocking his head off?
Dude, he did not like when he went up high. Like when he put his hand in up into
It was
Jalen's
like-
face, man, and he just smacked him, and my man just fell like
Good
300 pounds of getting cracked across the head and then falling. I was surprised there wasn't a flag.
They missed that one.
They totally missed that.
They missed it. He did get fined, but
Yeah, of course he gets.
But-
like,
In the
right,
game,
take that out of my game check.
I take it out of my game check. Don't matter. I'm loading up on incentives here. No, I mean, he was just doing what he needed to do. And I loved when he leaped over the chip block. You guys saw
He
that, right?
jumped up, air
He
battle.
just jumped over it. Just like, whatever. Like, a big man should not be that athletic. And he got up off that ground. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But the whole defensive line, man, like Milt, fucking, what's his name?
Milt Williams,
The other
Moro
guy.
Jomo.
Ajomo, dude. Ajomo.
Yeah,
Freaking
right.
Carter, dude. Like, we saw Bryce Huff. Like, we saw Bryce
Who?
Huff on the field at the end of the game in a blowout. And it's just like, ugh. He did not look good.
He was tripping over blades of grass.
He was not looking good.
Yeah.
But, man, like,
Nolan Smith, right? Nolan Smith, the one play where he lines up, he might have well as lined up on Patterson Avenue. He was that far, he was that far out, and he catches Jaden Daniels on the complete opposite sideline to get a sack.
He's like a Lamborghini.
dude, it's just insane watching these young dudes play. And I'm like, all I keep thinking is like next year we get one more guy off the edge. Like one more, like a solid pass rush. Like this defensive line could be the best in football. Like if we can keep Milt Williams, which I'm prioritizing Milt Williams, unless he's too expensive. But I like Becton. I like him and Bond, like three guys who I'm definitely like, all right, we got to try to sign.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, I mean, you still got good replacements. I mean, Jordan Davis made a hell of a play in this game.
He did.
Right? His sack coming up the middle.
But if you get another edge guy, you could have one of the best offensive line or
Max
defensive
Crosby.
lines.
Oh,
in long
Joe, you saw it.
time.
I saw it.
Did you see
The
the
eagle
Rich,
and
did
the
you see the
diamond.
tweet?
No, I didn't see the
He
tweet.
said, "I'm gonna be a champ one day,"
Yeah.
and then he had a diamond and then an eagle.
Yeah.
Bro, if we got Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, I would have an erection that lasts 365. And it would be dangerous.
Okay, Ron Burgundy.
I would be like, oh, it's an illusion of the pants all the time. Because I'd just be like, this defensive line, good luck.
Right.
Lord. Oh, Lord.
Right, but Rich, talk about your guy. Talk about Zach Bond. Right in the post. I'm just gonna give you postseason stats.
Yeah.
26 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, an interception, and 2 passes defended.
He's an all-pro for a fucking reason. This guy is playing
Like,
out of his mind. And the
Defensive
funny
play,
thing,
should
the
be
funny thing is,
defensive
my
play of the
dad
year.
was like, yeah, when he played at Illinois, he fucking tackled everybody. So I have no idea how he couldn't get on the field with States. And I'm like, my dad's real good with like that shit. He'll give you like, oh yeah, because he watches college football all the time. Like he'll tell you guys on fucking Hawaii. He's like, yeah, I watched him play for Hawaii. I'm like, Dad, why are you up at 3 a.m., you degenerate? Well, maybe I threw a couple hundred on it. I'm like, yeah, I figured that. But he's like, yeah, man, at Illinois, he fucking tackled everybody. I don't understand why he didn't get on for the Saints. Coaching.
There it is.
Vic Fangio puts you in the right position. It literally took 4 years for someone to figure out that he's a fucking inside linebacker. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about our boy?
It's crazy.
I mean, that dude is just
Lock him up.
Yeah.
You
I
have
mean, he's got it. Like when you see a guy that has the benefit of being a product of his environment, right? And you take a guy that's talented and you switch his position and you give him an opportunity to be successful.
Yeah.
And then he does, and talk about a guy that's team first, leader,
Yeah.
humble, right?
Hasn't mentioned
Like,
contract one time.
not
Hasn't
one time.
mentioned anything. He's just everything's great, This is the most fun that he's had probably in his whole career because he earned his opportunity. He fucking earned it. He
Mhm.
got it and he's fucking shining. He is the definition of like what the Eagles represent. Hard work, never giving up, that fucking blue collar fucking life. Like Zach Bond, I want to be an Eagle because one, he's just going to be fucking just a legend because of just the situation that he came from, being a special teams guy, being overlooked, not being used properly, and then all of a sudden you are I'm sorry, Fred Warner was not better than him this year. Fred Warner was not better than him, and neither was Roquan Smith.
Not even close.
Neither was Roquan Smith. Like he should have been the number one All-Pro linebacker. I know he was an All-Pro, but he should have been number one. Fred Warner was probably 2. Roquan Smith was 3. But watching the breakdown of Bond, especially when the dive across the middle where he almost had the interception but the pass breakup, he recognizes, okay, it's the high back. So, all right, they go back. It's a pass. He realizes, all right, the tight end's chipping. So he's got to pick up the wide receiver. Like the intelligence, the intangibles. Like the man is doing everything and more.
Yeah.
I didn't even think he was going to fucking make the team.
Nah, right.
Right? Like that was a guy that you saw in the offseason and you go,
Special teamer.
if we get a really solid special teams contribution from him, great.
Fuck, we got an
And
all-pro linebacker.
And you
God
saw
damn
it
it.
day one, right? You can tell that Vic Fangio saw something
Yeah.
because from day one,
He was ready to roll.
the guy, right, White, the guy that they signed couldn't even get on the field.
I forgot about
Devin White.
Oh
Right?
my
Devin
God, I
White couldn't
forgot
get on the
about
field.
What a stiff.
And we're like, what is the deal? Like, I remember first couple episodes this season, we're talking about like, what is the deal? Like, why can't he get on the field? This dude is like an all-pro. Like, he should be on the field. And credit to Vic Fangio, right? Putting Quinion Mitchell on the field day one and not looking back, putting Zach Bond in there because he knew he saw something and never looking
How's James
back.
Bradbury? Anybody have a report?
Is James Bradbury is he going to be in New
Bradbury
Orleans?
in New Orleans?
They said he's going to be active this week. He's covering Juju. But they said they brought up the point that if he's going to play, that he has to change his gloves to white gloves because the Chiefs are wearing white, so you can't see him tugging on the jersey.
That's smart.
White gloves. There we go.
Right.
Get everybody some white gloves. Rich, your boy Jalen Carter.
He's a monster.
Is just a monster, right? Has a monster game against the Rams. Has a monster game in the NFC Championship game, right? He in this postseason, he has generated 20 pressures. That's only happened 2 other times in the playoffs. Chris Jones did it, and Aaron Donald did it.
Wow.
Like that's that. I mean, we know because we watch it every week. We know because we see what we're looking at. But like, he is about. I feel like this season is just like this is the prequel to like him being in that conversation for defensive player of the year after year after year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he's going to be a perennial All-Pro. He is going to be the best defensive tackle for fucking the next 10 years. And I just want to thank everybody for passing up on him.
Yeah, thank you, NFL.
Thank you, everybody before us. Atlanta, thank you for taking Bijan Robinson because it's really working out. You guys are doing well in the play. Oh, wait, you still haven't made the playoffs with taking him. Enjoy
For
Kirk.
the Bears.
The
Bears trading that pick back.
Yeah, fucking idiots. It's just fantastic because we got a generational talent at defensive tackle, the second coming of Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald said it himself.
Mhm.
Good luck, offensive lines. And did you see the Chiefs center or right guard has been like, he's like the
Thuney had to
statistically
move.
second worst
Yeah.
graded offensive lineman in the league
I got
the
it.
past 4 weeks.
I got a bookmark for you, Rich. Mike Caliendo's last 4 games
Yes, there he is.
has allowed 13 pressures, 6 hurries. Now take PFF for what it's worth, right? But he's graded out at a 38, which would be second worst if it were average for the entire season.
Yeah.
Second worst guard for the entire season. If you think
Let the boys eat.
that Jalen Carter is
That
not
shot.
going to line up right over that dude, and if
Fuck,
if
bro.
they allow that to happen, good luck. If that means that he automatically draws that double team, well, now you've got Nolan Smith, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham,
I
or
can't.
whoever,
I can't
right?
wait. To be back.
Whoever else is going to be on that line is now going to be one-on-one, and that to me is like that was like a huge red flag to be like, that is something that you know that they're going to exploit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of disruption in terms of trying to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, but doing it almost like a mush rush.
Oh yeah, they're gonna do everything that they can. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, you're I know the one tackle isn't great either on pass blocking, and I think Nolan Smith. This is a big game for Nolan Smith to have as well. I mean, he over the 3 games he has 4 sacks, and I think he has the Eagles record so far. So
Yeah.
you're going to put him against the weaker of the tackles. So it's going to be great to see. I mean, you're going to get that push up the middle, and then like Rich was saying, you got to watch with the mush rush and make sure that Mahomes doesn't have the opportunity to get out of the pocket. But I mean, we've seen Nolan Smith. He's kind of undersized, but he's able to set the edge, even at his size, and shed tackles and make the tackle. Or he'll just run right by it. So it's and he can catch anybody. I mean, if you can catch Jaden Daniels, you better believe he can catch Patrick Mahomes, because
Oh,
Jaden
absolutely.
Daniels is probably one of the fastest guys in the league playing quarterback. So they got to stay in their lanes. They got to be smart. But Vic's got a plan. Vic's had a plan all year, and I don't think it's gonna change this week, because we're gonna come out, we're gonna play bully ball, we're gonna play Eagles ball, and it doesn't matter who we're playing.
No, I mean, listen, you're going to come off an NFC Championship game where you put up 7 rushing touchdowns. You can do whatever you want to do, and that's based on the way that this offense is built. I saw a really funny stat with they scored more rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship game than the Cowboys scored all season, which is absolutely awesome.
You can't make this shit up.
No. But like, and listen, we'll at some point in time we'll get we'll get an opportunity to dive real deep into the Chiefs Eagles matchup.
Mhm.
But I mean, this offense, the way that they're rolling, the way that they're built, it's just it's really it's a weird position to be in, to have, like, because we're normally and for whatever it's worth, you're facing a team that's gonna go in for a three-peat, but you're the underdog.
Yeah.
Right, and you're the underdog in a season where things break the right way. You really only got beat once,
Yeah.
Mhm.
The two other games that you lost, you kind of beat yourself. That Atlanta game, you beat yourself. It
And
just
Washington, even
and
the
the
Washington
Washington
game
game.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You,
Devontae catches that pass. As bad as we played, and with a backup quarterback, and Josh missing a lot of time in that game, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting ejected. Devontae Smith catches that pass toward the end of the game. We're talking about another W. So, yeah, the Tampa game was the only game where we really got
We
dominated.
legit
So,
lost. Yeah, we legit lost. Was
yeah,
Tampa. Yeah, I mean, even the Baltimore Ravens were on Twitter talking about that we were the best team that they've played all year, and they all and like I forget who the players were on the Ravens. But they're like, yeah, that was like legit the only team that beat us,
and manhandled them,
and we manhandled them.
and the Steelers.
I look at the Kansas, like like you said, we'll dive deeper. We'll do our episode this week on it, but the Chiefs were like 10 minutes combined. 10 minutes combined of being away from being like 9-7.
Mhm.
Like they've won most of their games in the last under the last 3 minutes of the game. Which yes, I get it. It's like, oh, they won, but at the same time, they were not. They did not beat anybody impressively.
They didn't dominate.
They didn't dominate like the Chiefs typically do dominate
Right.
teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Their offense isn't built like that anymore. Like I get, Worthy, he's super fast, but my man's a one-trick pony. Like
Well,
they
and Rich,
have
I heard
gadgets to
somebody
get him.
talking about this, right? The player that I watch with Worthy is Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Right. Because if there's anything that I've seen Cooper DeJean do all year long since he's been inserted into the starting lineup after the bye week, man, does he play that little bubble screen play.
Oh my
He
God.
played right. He played and I go back to look at right the play with Derrick Henry in that Baltimore game where he goes up and makes that right, trucks him and makes that tackle. Right. But think about that Baltimore game where he makes that play on Jamar Chase in the flat, right? That little bubble screen, and he comes up and makes that tackle and stops him on fourth down. Like I like the way, like I know that he's like a little gadget guy. I know that he's a guy that they're gonna try to get in space. And listen, at the end of the day, you're talking about playing Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, right? They've been to what 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls.
Mhm.
But if you look at the one that they lost against Tampa, right? They were weak on the offensive line, and Mahomes was running for his life the entire game.
Yep.
I feel like you have a defense that is built in the same way, in the
Agreed.
same way that Tampa team was built in order to be able to get pressure, get him on the move. And DeAndre Hopkins is not what he was.
No.
And Juju Smith-Schuster is what he is.
Yep.
Right.
And
Hollywood Brown.
Right, like Hollywood Brown and Xavier Ward, like you've got guys, but I feel like you have a defense
That can match up.
that can match up with them. And as when I go through the only team that they have really played on their schedule, right? They played Baltimore, right? That opening game, right? That game was a kind of a wish wash of a couple plays go the other way. That's a loss. They come back and they got a 1-point win against Cincinnati. And then the loss to Buffalo, right? But other than that, there's a lot of trashy games on there. And in some of those trashy games, they struggle too.
Yeah.
Blew the doors off the Bengals. Like they struggled against Carolina. Yeah, we
They
struggled.
should have beat Denver.
Hmm?
I mean, Denver.
I mean-
Denver should have won. Denver should have won that game. It was a blocked field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
Again,
I mean, they escaped. They escaped some of these games.
bro, it's black magic.
The
It's
Raiders
blue
game.
Black magic. The Raiders
Ra-
game. Yeah, dude.
The Raiders game. Where they changed the call from what false start to illegal shift or illegal motion. Some
Yeah.
crap. Whatever.
It's just, dude. They should have lost last week against Buffalo with the fourth
Buffalo
and
didn't take
the
it. It
fourth
was
and
right
inches.
there. It was
Yeah,
right there.
Sean McDermott needs to get fired into the fucking sun. His play calling was atrocious. It was atrocious.
And listen, all right. So did I send this to you guys the whole thing with the pick that the Chiefs took Patrick Mahomes with
Yeah.
was originally the Buffalo Bills pick. That the Bills were on the clock when Patrick Mahomes was there, and they essentially took that. So they take that pick, they trade it to Buffalo for, I got it up on the screen, the 27th overall pick, a 3rd round pick, and a future first.
He wouldn't have been that good. I guarantee it.
But
I'm telling you, he wouldn't be as he. Buffalo is in a situation where they literally got a coin flip. It's not Josh Allen's fault they lost the fucking game. Sean McDermott is not a good coach. Like, he wins a ton in the regular season. My man can't get over the hump because
They can't win on the road.
No, and he gets out coached. And let's be real, you knew the magic was going to end with Buffalo because they have no fucking wide receivers. And the offensive line is shit.
0 for 8. They were
And
0 for 8 in the last 8 road games. They've lost all 8 road games.
And their defense was not good this year. Like,
No.
Buffalo was winning solely on the back of Josh Allen and
Yes.
James Cook. Like, but those two players carried Buffalo, and Kansas City barely beat them, and they couldn't shut down Josh Allen or James Cook.
Well, and
Saquon Barkley's a little bit better than that.
A little
right,
bit.
and this is one of the things that we'll talk about, at the end of the week when we get back together and really break down this game. But like the way that Buffalo was able to run the ball early, and then they just kind of like abandoned it,
Went away from it.
which that this team is not going to go away from that.
Shout out to flashbacks at Kyle Shanahan in the Super Bowl against the fucking New England Patriots.
Yeah, buddy.
Dude, I'm telling you, Sean McDermott fucked that whole game up. I watched up until halftime when they scored, and then I was just watching the highlights and then just reading shit, and finally was able to catch like the fourth quarter of it on NFL TV. I'm like, what the fuck is Sean McDermott doing? He just got out coached. Like Andy Reid, the shit that pisses me off with Kansas City, and I'm just going to fucking say it, is one, you got Andy Reid, and none of his assistants fucking leave. Like, Jalen Hurts is about to lose another offensive fucking coordinator. Like, we can't we keep getting these young, really, like, I'm not going to say Brian Johnson's offensive mind. He's not fucking smart. No. All right. Everybody besides Brian Johnson.
But like Shane Steichen.
But Shane Steichen, like, we're getting all these guys and they're getting head coaching jobs. And it's like, fuck. Like, Andy Reid has his system. And Spags ain't leaving to be a defensive coordinator or anybody else. His offensive coordinator, who is it? Matt Nagy or whatever? Who's been on that fucking team for how long, took a head coach job, came back. Like, his coordinators stay. The only one who really left was Bieniemy. And where the fuck did he end up?
Yeah. I mean, he just got a job with somebody, but last year he was the offensive coordinator at UCLA. Like he took a leap, right, and went to go be the OC in Washington, and then he's just been bouncing around since then, which is a shame. But just kind of like you're a product of your environment. But like I look at this, and as we start to talk about the conversation that we talked about earlier, right, with Kellen Moore, right, is it like I'm stuck between, like, do I look at a Vic Fangio version, a guy that's a little older, little sage, but like really not looking to become a head coach again, so that I know that I could have established some stability? Like a guy like Frank Reich is a guy that like is older, has experience, probably is not looking to become another head coach again. Or do I go the young guy again with, but I do that with the caveat that like I could be in the same position a year from now.
Joe?
Yeah, I think that's got to be the conversation with whoever you do bring in. I mean, obviously these guys. Well, if you got to feel them out. Do they want to be a head coach or do they want to be a coordinator? And do they want to be a coordinator for multiple years?
Mhm.
But I mean, if you're talking about the Frank Reich route, he absolutely had success here before, but I mean, that was different different quarterbacks, different coach, completely different coaching staff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it worked before. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate to being successful this time. But I mean, the familiarity is there, and yeah, that's the thing that you run in with the young and up and coming guys. It's they have one really good year, and they have the, I mean, and they might get that head coaching opportunity. So you're just looking for stability. You want, it's a lot to ask of your
Yeah.
quarterback to keep bringing these guys in and then just having them fly the coop after a year or two. It's a lot of strain and it's a lot of pressure that you're putting on your quarterback.
Yeah. I just don't know who you would go out there as like a retread to like go and grab. Um, there's not that many guys out there. I mean, this offense can be super creative, but it can just be simple like run, ground and pound, pass when you need to. But I don't know, man. It's just hard. Like names out there, like there's not really many old offensive coordinators that I really do like, and that's why the game does change and evolves. You can incorporate more motion and do a lot more. Um, I don't know, man. It's just going to be crazy. I just really hope Kellen Moore doesn't take it because that job fucking sucks. There's a reason why it's vacant.
Yeah,
Their roster is trash. All their
you don't
good
have a
players
quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah.
are over 30. No one wants to work with Derek Carr because he's a perennial loser and seems like he's a bad fucking teammate. Uh, I don't understand why they can't do it. They're in cap fucking hell. They're in cap hell for like the next 2 years. Like their
Yeah.
cap's
Yeah.
terrible. It's not an instant rebuild. Like that's a multi-year thing. Like, come on, are they really going to say, hey, Kellen, we're going to give you 2 years, and their team's not going to be good in 2 years. Their team's not going to be good in 3 years.
Right.
And then by
Yeah.
the time your team's good in 3 years, Alvin Kamara's fucking old. Chris Olave's fucking going to be probably, if he gets another concussion, fucking not playing anymore. And then who are you fucking
And
left?
that's all you have.
Yeah.
And that's all you have, but you can't pay anybody.
Right.
Your whole defense is like fucking 38. Like, you're gonna pay Tyrann Matthew, still getting paid. Like Tyrann fucking Matthew.
It's the truth.
And Cameron fucking, was it?
Cameron Jordan.
Yeah, Cameron Jordan. I was
He's
saying
like
Jordan
40.
Cameron. That guy's fucking old as shit.
He's like 45.
Yeah, he's fucking old. And he's got like 3 years left. Like, they're still paying Marshawn Lattimore's contract. They're paying his fucking dead cap hit next year. Like,
It's just crazy.
why would you go to New Orleans, Kellen? Like, do you really want to be a head coach that bad? Stay. Give it one more year.
I
I
mean,
guarantee the fucking Dallas job opens up, and then go there and we'll kick your dick in.
Oh God.
How about that hire?
Well, sometimes you got to take a risk.
No, it sounds more like this. Sounds more like this, you judging. Sometimes he's got to take a risk because he's like drunk as shit at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. on that fucking shit.
You gotta find a glory hole.
You gotta find.
Sometimes, yeah, the absolute glory hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God. Well, listen. Before we jump out, right? Give me just a couple of things, couple of highlights from this season. Looking back at this season, what are some of your favorite moments from this season?
Oh man, drafting Quinyon Mitchell. Before the season, I'll have to go with that moment. Saquon Barkley, pretty much all year. Now the first Rams game where he just decided to throw up 255, like that was fucking nuts. Oh man, I'm trying to think what else. I don't know, Joe. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean the drafting of Mitchell and Devine were massive. The untapped skill and play of Zach Bond
Yeah.
which nobody saw.
It's
You know, this team hasn't had a linebacker that good in, dude, I can't even remember. I mean, he's better than Nigel Bradham was in our Super Bowl year
Oh, 1,000%.
by a landslide. We haven't, dude. I can't remember a year we had a linebacker that good who was a game changer.
He's been
And
our
then
best linebacker since like the 90s, dude.
yeah, and
Maybe,
how
honestly,
about
maybe since Trot.
I think he's better.
maybe yeah,
I think he's better than
I
Trout.
think he
But
might be
like
better than
the
Trot.
best since Trot.
Best cinch Trout.
Exactly.
Has the potential to be better.
And then the fact that Brandon Graham has his best game against the Rams during the regular season, then he gets hurt, and Nolan Smith is basically forced into that starting role, and look at how well he's doing.
Oh yeah.
He's dominating, and he only is getting this opportunity because of an injury. Who's to say, he would get this kind of playing time if Brandon Graham hadn't gotten hurt? So he has taken that, and he's been fantastic with being undersized and still being able to set the edge, being in the right gaps, and also being able to rush the passer with and being that size,
Yeah.
and showing up in the biggest moments, 4
Oh yeah.
sacks in 3 playoff games. So he's been massive, and I would expect him to have another great game this week. So for me, I guess I'm obviously with Mitchell and Cooper, but they just hit, man. They hit in the draft. They hit in the draft. They Howie was a magician again, and to see that translate to on the field in the rookie year, game in and game out for the whole year, and even in the playoff games, like these guys have come up massive.
I mean, you could say Howie Roseman's probably had his best offseason, right? Between the drafts, between the guys that he's restructured, re-signed, traded for, brought in.
Yep.
I mean, he hit on pretty much everything but Huff. And like when I go back and look, right, you could say like, right, Saquon Barkley is a no-brainer between the 2,000 plus yards, the multiple games where he's scoring 3 touchdowns, the 760 plus yard runs. He's got Rich. You were saying the 255 again on the Sunday night game in in LA, the game against Jacksonville, right? The all the epic plays that happened in that game, right? The
Kobe Dean.
the N'Kobe Dean interception to end the game, the Devontae Smith toe tap at the back of the end zone, right? The Saquon Barkley hurdling the dude backwards.
Yep.
That's
That's right.
So
right,
much.
like that stretch where they play the Rams and the Ravens back to back, and we weren't sure, playing 2 road games, coming off 2 division games, and they just take care of business. And then like I also think about like that the way that Pittsburgh game, the week leading up to that Pittsburgh game was all about the passing game and all about questioning Jalen Hurts and the post game comments of that's what y'all wanted to see, right? Just that confidence and that swagger going into the end of the end of the season. There's so many points that like think about this, fellas. They've lost 1 game since the Phillies stopped playing baseball.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Right? That's a little bit wild. And this team has an opportunity, I think, to be able to right the wrongs of a couple years ago. And I think they've learned enough, both as a team and both as an organization. There's a lot of guys that played in that game. You're going to play on a neutral surface. You don't have to worry about the sod father. You're significantly more talented when you look at position for position, especially at running back. Right, Miles Sanders had a very pedestrian game. Jalen Hurts threw the ball all over the field, and he probably played his best game since that game this past NFC Championship.
Yeah.
And I just look at this team and I go like, yeah, they're talented. Yeah, you're going up against Patrick Mahomes and you're going up against Spags and you're going up against Andy Reid. but this team is really talented.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that the cachet of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and getting back to 4 out of 5 Super Bowls and going for a three-peat. There's a lot that's getting lost on the talent that this team has and how well it's played all year long. That I'm looking at this going, they got to play us. They got to come play us. They got to figure out a way to move the ball on this defense. They got to figure out a way to stop, Saquon Barkley. They got to figure out a way to cover, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert, and they got to figure out a way to bottle up Jalen Hurts because he's playing his best football going into this game, and he's keeping the main thing, which is wins.
Yeah.
All he does is win.
It is the truth.
It is. That's all you can ask.
And I'm not gonna lie, I gotta eat some crow. So I'm sorry, Oren Burks. Yo, I'm sorry. I will admit when I'm wrong, dude. Hell of a game he had. He's
balled out.
Washington.
And you think about it, right? They lose Trot, and you really don't hear a lot about them losing that position a whole lot.
Yeah, I know. You lose Dean, and he steps right up.
Stepped in.
He's the next man up, and he's been playing really well. So, Oren Burke, sorry, buddy. I know you're a friend of the show. Probably want to be. So I apologize. I'll eat crow on.
Yeah. Shout out to Vic. Shout out to Vic Fangio for getting him in the playing at a high level. And shout out to Nick Sirianni for reeling it in after that Jags game because he was getting a little too loosey-goosey with his play calling, the whole stuff on the sideline and all the shenanigans. He really turned a corner after that bye week with being more humble and kind of reeling in his emotions. That was also a huge turning point in the season.
Yes, it was.
Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we jump out of here? This is
final
exciting.
thoughts. Final thoughts, Don. The NBA sucks. Fucking rigged. De'Aaron Fox just got traded to the Spurs.
I just saw it.
Just happened. Luka, 25-year-old Luka for 30-year-old AD.
It's
really?
such a joke, man.
It's a fucking
what a terrible league.
That's all I got. The NBA is a joke. I mean, I would have traded him Joel Embiid for Luka. Like, Jesus Christ. And like
a bag of chips.
Else. Like it's
anybody.
Dude, how you didn't net like 5 number 1 picks for him? Insane.
Wait, hold on. So Rudy Gobert gets what, 4 first-round picks?
Yeah, Luka gets 1.
It's terrible. It really is. It really is terrible. And Joe and I were talking before the show, like, that's one where you lock the door. Nobody leaves until we figure this shit out.
Like, he didn't even know he was getting traded. They said like he found out when he was at a party or some shit, or like he was out somewhere, and then LeBron found out when he was fucking having dinner with his family, and fucking Kyrie found out after he was like in Cleveland at like a shoot around, like at a practice. Like everybody's finding out shit. And
like, I'm looking at it on the the sports update last night. I'm like, is this real?
I was getting ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden,
I get breaking
news, and it's like Anthony Davis traded for Luka Doncic, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, in what world? Don't they have fucking Porzingis?
Porzingis is on Boston.
Oh yeah, they traded him. I forgot. That's how much I know. But still, I remember they had
the NBA is a terrible product.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's bad all around.
Don't watch the NBA. Watch college. That's all I got.
Yeah, college basketball is exciting, but listen, there's plenty of time for college basketball coming up in March.
Watch the football game this week, the NFL game. It's the Eagles and the Chiefs. It should be a good one.
I'm saving that for next week's goddamn final thoughts, Joe. I'm not trying to give all my good final thoughts away. We're gonna have a show in a few days.
Well, listen, I got a couple, right? The shout out to our some friends at the Santa Boot First podcast that found out on the Jason Kelsey show that they're getting they're going to the Super Bowl. They got tickets to the Super Bowl, which is a cool thing for those guys, which is really cool. And then another thing, good day, mate. put some shrimp on the barbie.
Oh yeah,
We found out that in 2026 the Birds are going to be playing a game
In
in
my loudest
Australia.
backyard.
That's fucking nuts. That's nuts.
I don't know how that I don't know how that works. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if they're giving them like a 2-week bye after having to fly halfway around the fucking world. I don't know if they stop and play another game in Europe on the way home.
This might be worse.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's worse.
This is going to be worse.
If they don't
we're gonna
give them
need
a bye,
yeah, we're going to need
this-
2 weeks off.
they're gonna have to take
Like,
like 3 planes.
Yeah.
Take like 3 fucking planes because you're gonna
Terrible.
need like, beds for everyone on those fucking planes. That's
Yeah, this wouldn't surprise me if they're like if they go somewhere, train for a week,
You're right, Joe.
and then go.
I thought somebody was breaking into Joe's house.
Well, I'm hearing something, and I'm like, there's nobody in the house, just me and the dog. So thought I was gonna have to break into action.
Oh God, Joe, you got a final thought before we jump out of here?
Yeah, shout out to Don and Rich for the gift of the gift that you guys gave me, which I haven't had a chance to see yet since my family decided to hide it from me because I'm a
I can show you. I can show you a picture.
Let me show you a picture where it looked really good.
Husky people like to eat, so it's not a shout out to my family for hiding it. I'm hungry, and I don't know. I'm like eating ice chips over here.
Oh God.
There's no food in the fridge because I haven't shopped.
Yeah, I'm not going to the grocery store.
I'm not
All right,
shopping
Joe.
for
This is what it
myself.
looks
I'm
like.
hoping to eat a snack box, but
It's called a Crave box, if that's what you're looking for.
oh, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what it looks
Oh,
like.
Yeah.
nice.
See if you can find it, Joe. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm
There
gonna
you
go.
go.
I'm gonna
Joe's-
go ransack the house and
Joe's on a little seek and find mission.
I hope you find those things.
sorry, I'll survive.
Well, listen, Rich. Before I tell you to send people home, I want people to stick around because Mark and I this weekend got a little sidetracked and we're talking a little Birds. So there's a little bonus episode on the back end, little 10, 12 minutes of Mark and I talking Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So take us home, Rich.
All right. Well, obviously we're drunk on broad. I'm Rich. That's Don. And that's Joe. You stuck around, you fucked around, you found out. And as always, fuck Dallas. Fuck Deshaun Watson. Dude, fuck Justin Tucker. Holy
Yo.
Oh
shit.
yeah,
Bro, that blew my fucking mind.
dude.
What
you've
a
been hanging out
creep,
with
dude.
Deshaun
Yeah,
Watson.
Justin Tucker.
That's
yeah,
what.
yes.
Justin Tucker. Yeah, what a fucking creep. Dude, fucking nuts.
Wow.
Maybe that's why it's always going left.
Yeah, that's why it's always going there.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Holy shit, did anybody expect that? Nope, didn't have
No.
that. Didn't have that on my bingo card.
No.
And yeah, fuck Spike Eskin and yeah, everybody else. Just fuck them all. Fuck Dallas. Fuck the Chiefs. Eagles,
Yep.
we're going to the Super Bowl. Tune in this week. Tune in after the episode. Listen to Mr. Mark Ramos and Don. And later this week, catch us again for our Super Bowl preview. Philly, we love you. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Birds.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.